Today I am going to talk about some concepts related to marketing management. I will start with importance of marketing. When we are going to study marketing, it's very important to understand what it means, what kind of value it has for us. So if you think deeply about the term, if you think deeply about the activities which are happening around you, you will find that everywhere marketing is impacting your life. When I am making this video, when I am using this PPT, when you are listening to this video, the manner in which I have sent you the video, and the manner in which you are going to use the video in your life, all these things are possible because somewhere by one or another an act of marketing has been performed. It's very difficult to imagine a society where marketing is not going to be there. Marketing cannot be interpreted in a very, very narrow, myopic view. In fact, if you think of the evolution of civilization and think of the age when we were living as hunter gatherer society, where we had to go out continuously for food hunting, then our life was not so stable. And then imagine initial set of people on this earth, and scientists will say that in different geographical spaces that happened, the idea of agriculture. So when idea of agriculture originates, you need to convince it to peers, you need to convince it to your family members. In fact, if you think of the idea of family per se, like the way we know family in India, same kind of family is not there everywhere. But some commonality will be there. So think of the initial human evolution when the idea of family per se is originating. And some people are thinking about forming the family and they are trying to convince others. So there also marketing will be involved. So wherever human needs are there, and those needs for those needs need to be fulfilled by doing something which we will call as innovative solution. When we are concerned about others' problems, the act of marketing is going to be done. So that is why when we are talking about marketing decision making, for different units it can be understood. So one extreme will be defined by set of marketers coming from marketing companies, primarily your FMCG companies involved in manufacturing and selling of soap, shampoo, etc. That is one extreme. Another extreme will be where you think of marketing to yourself when you are trying to when you are trying to solve problems, your own problems. Then in between you have marketing decision making involved at the level of family, at the level of organization, in profit making context, in non-profit making context. So everywhere, whenever we are trying to solve others' problems, the act of marketing is going to be played upon. So we have to be open to the term, and it's very difficult to imagine a world without marketing. Be it your profit making organizations or non governmental organizations, government itself, continuously we are involved in the act of marketing. When government is trying to ensure that everybody gets vaccinated against COVID-19, so there are a lot of marketing activities are going on. When scientists were working on the problems, understanding of the problem, then also they will be thinking of understanding of the problems related to COVID-19, then also act of marketing will be involved, because needs need to be assessed in what context the vaccine, in this case product, has to be used. That has to be very clearly articulated, and when that vaccine comes into the marketplace, so now I'm talking about vaccine coming into the marketplace. So there are activities which we will be doing before it enters into the market, pre-launch activity, and then there are post-launch activity. At both the places, what is common? Continuously we are thinking of users. Continuously we are thinking of people for whom the the product has been designed. Now let's talk about the scope of marketing. So you read the definition which is written on this slide, that marketing is the activity set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners and society at large. So for whom we are creating the value? Society at large is mentioned towards the end, and then a specific set of stakeholders are there, like customers, for whom you are trying to customize the products, clients, about whom you are thinking and services are being designed, and your partners, without whose help you are not going to meet your objective of solving the problems of people. So several activities will be involved. Two activities we talked about, for example, scientists thinking about vaccine for people, and then when it comes into the market, they are trying to ensure that people get vaccinated. Third activity will be the distribution of it, where you are trying to ensure that vaccine reaches in your mohalla, at the hospital. So different institutions are going to be involved. I already mentioned that at hospitals it is going to be there. Then there will be other set of places, other public institutions where vaccination program will go on, has been going on. So many institutions are involved. More complex is the problem, or sometimes it is due to scale also. Larger is the scale of the problem. Institutional complexities also parallelly get created. And then there are several processes for creating several processes involved. Like your vaccine can be sent from Hyderabad to Bhubaneswar in a multiple manner. So for packaging can be done in numerous ways. Labeling can be done in multiple ways. So all those processes are going to be involved. So scope is quite vast. And what is marketed? Now we realize that everything is going to get marketed, from your goods to services to information to ideas to organizations to events to properties, and marketers are going to do it for their existing customers and prospects. So some people have already gone for vaccines, and others will be going for. Different kinds of demands will be there for vaccine. Like negative demand was created in the beginning for vaccine, where people had developed some dislike for it. And since the example is so glaring, it is known to everybody that in the initial phase of COVID-19 vaccination programs, negative demand or dislike was created, then we all can easily relate to that. So many a times negative demand will get created because of product specific concerns, and sometimes it's going to be interplay of influencers, like in this case people who gave negative statement about vaccine. So somehow, for significant section, I should not say significant, but sizable number of population, dislike was created. And in certain section of society, vaccine program, vaccine demand still may be non-existing. Now the size may be small, maybe in some interiors unawareness may be there, or lower level of awareness will be there, or simply they may not be interested into it because they don't see any threat of COVID-19 pandemic reaching there. Latent demand will be there, like latent demand for more risk-free, less risky vaccine. But we cannot clearly articulate because we don't know actually. So there are many things which in our mind, lot of concerns are there, apprehensions are there. So subtle understanding of those demand is required, and demand may decline after vaccination program reaches certain stage. Irregular demand that will be dependent on what kind of onset of viral attack goes on, and there may be a time when demand is going to get full demand is going to get met, and there may be a scenario when supply is going to be high than the demand, then it will be overfull. And it's possible that due to some reasons we get attracted to a product which has got undesirable consequences. That may not be true in the context of vaccine, but in other context where consequences we don't want. Those consequences we don't want. But if the demand for that gets created, then we will call that unwholesome demand. So demand and need are not exactly the same thing, though they may be related. Need, when we are talking about, then very specifically we will say that when there is deficiency of something in our body or in mind, then need gets created. The basic example of that is when water level goes down in the body, then thirst will be there. And marketers will try to define need in a multiple manner. Like sometimes customers can state the need, so stated needs. Sometimes needs are going to be real, sometimes they may not be that much real. That means identification of need has not been done in a proper manner. Sometimes unstated needs are going to be there, and sometimes higher order needs will be there where delightment will be sought. Real needs, when we are talking about it, primarily means that I have understood what all as a customer I require, and I am fully aware of the realistic situation which is there with me in terms of my economic status, my social status, my psychological status. And those needs, those products, if I start thinking of, which may not be genuinely required by me at this stage of my life, then it may not be so realistic actually. And conversion of that need in terms of demand will be difficult. Like if very expensive car, and I start thinking in terms of using it for the purpose of commuting, then that may not be a real need. So many times actually those things will be our desire, and need may be there for various goods or services, but it has to be converted in terms of want. That means I should know whether I require vaccination or not. So need for getting protected may be there, but whether I want to get vaccinated or not, that has to be realized by me. Then only I will be willing to go to clinic, and in some cases I will be willing to pay for it. That means demand will get created. Now let's talk about the orientation which companies have. So sometimes it's going to be product centric. In fact, before we talk about product centricity, there was a time when production centricity was there, and only efficiency will be emphasized. So there Henry Ford will be giving that statement that he did not care for the color of the car as long as it was black. That means demand is there and people want that thing, and up to the extent to which it can be delivered in the market, that is the most critical thing over there. So in the production concept, which is before your product centric, the production and distribution are being overemphasized. In the same concept, in the same statement of Henry Ford, you can also interpret the product centricity. What exactly he is also talking about: quality, performance, and innovation which are there in the car. So that means, as a marketer, as a company, we are thinking of the production in the very beginning, what I am making, and if I can deliver it at low price, it's going to be sold. In many cases, that will be the thinking. Then when we move on, then we start thinking of my product. So its quality, its performance, but still the thinking is embedded in my act of production or the things which I am making when we reach to product centricity. So first is your production centricity or production concept, then product centricity or product concept comes in. After that, the selling is being emphasized. So in selling, many a times overcapacity is there, and idea is that marketing is a warfare, it's jungle where we are competing against each other and we have to push. So till this stage, be it production or product or selling, your consumer has not been given its due importance. But when you reach to the customer centricity, or what we will call as marketing concept, then the thinking is that you are not searching for right customer for your product. So you made a pen, or you made a laptop or tab, and then you started looking for right customer. So when you made a tab, you are thinking of the product, and then you started thinking of the customer. So customer centricity is not about that. Customer centricity is where you have tried to understand what is required by the customer, and then accordingly you design the tab. And there different kinds of possibilities of making tab exist, and so the customer centricity or marketing concept, which are related terms, in 50s 60s marketers started talking about. Fundamentally, we are talking about post World War II period, where a lot of action is happening, particularly in American society. Then the concepts, marketing philosophy evolves further. So people are saying that it's not enough to think what kind of tab is required or what kind of gadget is required by the customer, but we need to think, but the tab is, or the product or gadget is an experience for the customer. So think of the customer experience and try to design the experience. So their iPod and iPad or Apple's innovative product will talk about design and the experience which it results into. So I will repeat, two things are not written on this slide, but we need to incorporate those two things as well. So first is your production concept, then your product concept, production, and then product. So product centricity, centric orientation is written over here. Then selling is there, third one. Fourth one is customer centricity and related concept is marketing concept, fourth. Fifth is experience centricity, and sixth is going to be trust centricity, where we are saying that it is a long term contract with the customer. More of competition is there, and loyalty becomes very very important, that customers should buy your iPad 1, iPad 2, or iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3, like that. So long term orientation, in the long term orientation, trust is very very important, so that repeat purchase is possible, upgradation of customer happens, and sometimes cross selling also happens. That means the other things which marketers make. So you should buy both pad and phone, or any other services, any paid apps which are part of Apple's selling system. So Apple requires trust to be generated. So what becomes the most important thing? Most important thing is to understand by doing what trust will get generated. Let me come quickly to the new marketing realities, where newer technologies are there, and the most important thing which it has created, it has given a lot of data to the marketers, which they can use for planning even a micro level activities for their customers. Globalization, when connectedness is there and demands are going to be demand complexity, it creates faster competition, it creates, because very quickly product moves from one part of the globe to another one. So even those markets which earlier took longer time to saturate are getting saturated very quickly. And today, particularly after the subprime crisis of the first decade of this century and environmental crisis, the term social responsibility becomes very very important. All these things need to be considered when we are thinking of new marketing realities. So marketing concept, while talking about customer centricity, I already explained, where customer centeredness is there, and we need to sense what my customer wants and accordingly respond. And there the concepts like user persona, so user's personality need to be thought of, and his needs need to be analyzed, then only right kind of products or services could be designed. So we reach to what we call today as holistic marketing concept. Holistic marketing concept has got 4 dimensions. So your selling of idea or product related idea begins inside the organization, where internal marketing is there. So Steve Jobs had to convince his partners first, or how the recommendation engine is going to be used internally. Amazon team had members had to convince others in their team. So internal marketing becomes very very critical, where you need to, where inside the organization people need to be convinced about the product or service which need to be marketed. Like if you are talking about vaccination related programs, so their internal marketing will mean that inside the government organization and other associated institution, clarity should be there, that what kind of vaccine is required, how vaccine has to be marketed. Then integration is required. So integrated marketing will mean that all 4 P's, be it your product or price or place or promotions, or in other words, products and services, channels, price and communication need to be aligned to each other. And since we are talking about long-term relationship, now even citizens are very demanding, so governments are being forced to consider their citizens from long-term perspective. What will be the myopic perspective? Before one night before the election, you give some incentive like liquor, etc., and people will vote for you, or some coercive act you go for. But now governments too are seeing the things from long-term perspective. Political parties, like declared budget will be in the range of 1,000 crores or more than that. Non-declared budget expenses we are not talking about. So all political parties realize that when they are out of power, that means they don't have their customers with them, then spends required to come back are going to be much more. So they need to, political parties are looking at the citizens and the voters from long term perspective, where many agencies are helping them. So relationship marketing is very, very important, where network of relations we need to create, which is also called marketing network. It's a kind of asset for the organization, an asset for the organization. Then performance marketing is there. All these things are going to become relevant in holistic marketing when some revenue comes, some equity brands are able to generate in an ethical manner. If ethical manner is not there, then even survival is going to be difficult. And environment, legal and social performance is going to be, those aspects are going to be of equal importance. So today it's very important that instead of product, price, promotion and place, we think in terms of people, processes, programs and performance, and we develop our marketing strategies and plans accordingly.